top. They greatly appreciate it. You know, I obviously have a long history with this organization. You were a name I always knew even before I knew you. I knew who you were. So that's like so many people in this room. And mostly good, but you were on the defense side for a little while there. So there may have been some other terms used at home when you were on the other side for a little while there. But no, I feel like I've actually known you my whole life. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Happy Mom's Day to all moms. There are so many thank yous to say. Dan Singer, congratulations, what a great year you had. Dan Shalpy, what a great year you're going to have, and all the work you've done over the years. The entire executive committee, you know, as chair of the legislative committee, we only work under the guidance of the executive committee. And so the legislative committee, and Chris, I'm going to say a little bit about you in a minute, but we work really hard. And we always go back to the executive committee and say, okay, now you tell us what we should do. Because they set the policy in this organization, and the executive committee always takes interest, has great ideas, has great feedback, and participates in so many of our meetings. Christina Busso, I don't know where you are, you're somewhere here, but you have been so hardworking in the last, I guess, year and a half, year plus, whatever it's been, and you're going to continue to grow this organization, and we're so appreciative for all you do. I want to congratulate First Shift Justice. That was an amazing presentation and talk you gave. I'm blown away by everything you did. You're very deserving to be recognized. Congratulations on all your work. I'm so happy and pleased that Chris Figueres was recognized tonight. She is amazing. The respect that she has at the city council, I don't want to speak for the council members who are here, but I feel like I can say this. She does it the right way. She's honest, she's passionate, she has the respect of the council, and that serves everyone in this room so well. We all know it because we have to do it in front of the courts and our judges, that when there's a case out there that isn't good for you, you acknowledge it, you talk about it, but you have integrity, and it means something then, and that's how Chris handles herself. And she is so dedicated to our organization. I'm so happy that the Women's Caucus decided to recognize her this year. She deserves it. I would be remiss if I didn't note that Linda Lipson, who everybody has the utmost respect and love for Linda, and thankfully, she's being recognized this week by the Consumer Federation of America and is receiving an award herself Wednesday night, and it is very deserving. I'm fortunate to have, I think, pretty much all of our law firm here, just about, other than a couple people who are remote with us, but we have our law firm at the two tables here, and you know, it's when COVID ended, I'm sure you all had the same discussions in your firms. It was hard to get people to want to come back to the office. And I've been really fortunate that we worked some things out. We gave we talked to staff and the team and gave some concessions on working remotely and closing a little early on Friday. But I remember one of the people who I didn't know how I was going to go over with, she said, I like being back. It's fun being here and being around everyone. Now, I don't know that fun is necessarily a word that I would pick every day, but we certainly have a really good vibe in the office, I think, and I appreciate everybody who's here and all the hard work. We work really hard, and I appreciate everything you all do on a daily basis. I really do. This organization and AAJ have given me so much personally over the years. I am so fortunate to have a group of friends that we travel with and I've gotten to know through AAJ. We affectionately refer to each other as the bottle poppers. I won't identify them on the record here or tell you what bottle poppers, where it came from, but some of my closest friends in the world are trial lawyers from all over the country. I'm fortunate to have some of them here tonight. Toby Milrod and Ben Milrod came down from Philadelphia. And they're driving back first thing in the morning because it's Mother's Day, but they wanted to be here tonight, and that's the kind of friends they are. Paul Miller came in from Toronto. Paul flew down just to go to dinner with me after my dad passed about a year and a half ago. He came, I guess about 8 months ago or so, he came down and just came down to have dinner with me from Toronto. For that. That's the kind of friend he is. Meredith and Craig, of course, who are here, and they're local, but they weren't gonna miss it, and I appreciate them so much. And of course, them too. It's just, I mean, these are my family members. Trial lawyers are my family members. And by the way, actually, like, biologically, they're my family members. My two brothers are here. I've tried cases with both my brothers. I think I mentioned at one point that my dad got a plaintiff's verdict with each of his 3 sons. So Jonathan, his wife Kristen, Matthew, I think that's, I can't even see it there. Yes. So Matthew just worked his tail off on a big case for about 4.5, 5 years and got a great result. I'm really proud for him and all he does, and I'm proud of Jonathan and what he's done setting up his law firm. And they keep fighting the good fight too. My mother, she was president of the then ATLA, and it was called the Women's Auxiliary. We don't call it that anymore, but I think it was called the Women's Auxiliary at the time. And so she was actually president of that, and I guess it was John Norman's wife who taught you, and then you taught all of us that big verdicts feed the ego, but settlements feed the family. So that's, she understands Vino has been to as many AAJ events as a lot of people here. He traveled with us to the Leaders Forum retreat, and I couldn't leave him out of this talk. My wife Tracy, Meredith said that I can't even say my wife's name without starting to cry, so I'm hell-bent on not crying. But I am so proud of Tracy. You know, we met at an AJ conference. We were married by 2 trial lawyers and her old boss at Trial Works. They presided over our wedding. And Tracy, a couple of years ago, after 17 years in the software industry, decided to go into a new space. And she does, like so many of our wonderful sponsors here, she helps with settlement planning at her company. And I am so proud of how much she has learned. In the last couple of years, she has gotten licenses and learned so much, but not just that, the compassion that she shows for our clients. She understands everything that we do and what the civil justice system, how it can make a difference in people's lives. And I'm so proud that she is doing that and representing individuals like we do. I'm past president, so I am mindful of the time, because when I was having this event, I think I threatened everybody on the side of the stage that if they went too long, I was going to tackle them. I think I've got about 60 pounds on Shelby, so I'm feeling okay. I will move on here, but you know, look, everybody who's won this award before, we stand on your shoulders every year. This award, it's like so many awards out there. You're almost a steward of it for a period of time, and then someone else comes along, and we build and we build and we build on what the good works that our colleagues done. Palmer, you've done so much in your career, and it's an honor just to have you stand up here and talk about me the way you did. And it's an honor to follow you, because everything I do comes on the shoulders of so many other people who have come before me. And of course, no shoulders were broader than those of my dad, Barry. You know, he admired so many of you. There were so many of you who he counted as just dear, dear friends. And those of you that he didn't count as dear friends, you probably knew him.
That's true.
But the gesture of this organization naming this award after him, I think it happened within 24 hours of his passing. And I'll never forget the moment that, Jonathan, actually, you read the letter first and came down. We were all with my mom in Hilton Head. And it was quite a gesture. It still gives me chills. But you know, he always thought of this as his home organization. It was very important to him. And it was important to me when I decided to throw my hat in and run for AAJ parliamentarian. The first place that I went and asked for support was this board, because DCTLA, it is our home organization. Somebody said to me the other day, you know, do you feel like you're not in his shadow anymore? You know, I never really felt like I was in his shadow. I mean, he had a big shadow. I mean, let's be honest, right? He had a big shadow. But, you know, he gave me so many opportunities and encouraged me to do things. And I don't know, that was not something that I ever felt, that I was in his shadow. And when I read the resolution that AAJ so graciously wrote last year, I said that he was a trial lawyer's trial lawyer. And you know, right to the end, gosh, I mean, he tried 3 cases from May of 21 until he passed in November of 21, post-COVID, three med mal cases. And you know, just one little thing about him, I got a call. A lot of people in this room know who Dr. Zay is, right? Dr. Zay is a pediatric neuroradiologist from Yale. He testifies for plaintiffs and defendants, but he's very good, very smart. And I got a call from a defense lawyer after we got this nice verdict that Palmer mentioned in West Virginia. The defense lawyer was a good guy. He was congratulating us, and he said, "I heard you guys had Dr. Zay testify for you." And I paused, because he wasn't our expert, he was the other side's expert, and I said, well, by the time Barry got done crossing him, he was testifying for us, and it was actually true. So this, you know, certainly it's an honor to receive the award named after him. Now, some of you may know this. I have a podcast that I do with a couple of buddies every week. It's a sports podcast.
What's it called?
It's called the SMQBs, the Sunday Morning Quarterbacks. Toby is one of my co-podcasters, and Paul comes on and makes a number of cameos. And we have 2 segments that we do every week. One of them is the punchable face of the week. And that's when we recap who the biggest jerk was in sports that week. And there are a lot of candidates out there. And then most weeks, not all, we have a Ted Lasso moment. Okay, so I want to sort of just, as I finish up here, we have a lot of troubles in this world right now. There are a lot of punchable faces out there. Purdue Pharma, trucking companies, the emergence of private equity in a lot of places where it shouldn't be, the rise, or I should say continued rise, of white supremacy and neo-Nazis, the politicization of the courts, led by what sadly seems to be an ethically conflicted Supreme Court, what's happening to the environment, including the melting of glaciers that we now are hearing are happening much faster than scientists even realized. Ron DeSantis. The assault on women's rights. Guns. Guns, guns, guns. A former president whom a jury found guilty of sexual assault, yet continues to be a front runner. But at least we can cross that prick Dan Snyder off the list. So, I had this saying back from 2016 to 2020, it was WASF. We are so. But we have a lot of work to do as trial lawyers. All these injustices, but this is what we do. we fight them. We stand up and we fight like hell. I mean, that's one of the things I think Barry taught all of us, right, Linda, is that you never give an inch. Don't give an inch.
Never.
Don't back down. So, Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And then the great Ted Lasso said in an episode, he says where he's trying to talk to his team before they go in for a game they have to win or get relegated. He says, I've been hearing this phrase you all got over here that I'm not too crazy about. He says, it's the hope that kills you. And Ted says, I disagree. It's the lack of hope that comes and gets you. See, I believe in hope. I believe in belief. And I think we have to be optimistic. We have to be optimistic even in the face of all of these punchable faces that we have out there in the world. We have so many reasons to be optimistic. Dan Singer, Dan Shelby, Chris Figueres, First Shift Justice, the friendships that I have. How could I not be optimistic with the friendships that I have? With my family, who's all here. My wife, Tracy, of course. Christina Busso, who's new to our organization. AAJ, Public Justice, the National Civil Justice Institute, Josiah Gray, Hebert Ruiz, and Mackenzie Gore. Josh Harris, Mitchell Rails, and Magic Johnson. And then so many of the young lawyers who are here tonight. Some of the young lawyers, I asked Christina who some of the younger lawyers were, and I know many of you, but not all. But just you being here and doing plaintiff's work is a reason to be optimistic. Jake Stillings, Sam Martin, Kyan Chambers, Mike Reeder, Kristen DeSmater, Ashley Stanjord, David Capson, Chris Regan, Noah Trombley, Kelly Brooks Simino, Samantha Peters. I'm optimistic because of bourbon and red wine. I'm optimistic because of AAJ's Women Lobby Days, which will happen this week, and how many women trial lawyers will come to Washington. Our city council members who are here tonight, Judge Josie Herring. I'm optimistic because I stand with this organization and with each of you to make the world a little bit more just, a little bit kinder. And just like another Martin Luther King Jr. quote, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice, say that I was a drum major for peace, say that I was a drum major for righteousness. Well, I'm optimistic because I'm in a room full of drum majors for justice, for peace, and for righteousness. And that is why I believe. Thank you very much.